Om Jnana-timirandasya Shananjala-shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namah Shri-Chaitanya-manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svama Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiro Shiyuda Padakamalam Shirom Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijanasaitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurahi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhani Sudhadevi Pranamama Hare Priya Pancha Kautra Visha Kripa Sindhubhivsha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namanam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravanya Pacharini. Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskari. Paskachari Desatarini. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So good evening. This evening we will continue with Nectar of Instruction, verse 3. Verse 2 was about things not to do. And verse 3 is about the positive things we need to do. And we will read the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Utsahan Nisayadayat Tat karma pavartanat Sanghotyaga sato visde sadbir bhakti prasiddhati. So, translation. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of devotional service. 1 is being enthusiastic, 2 endeavoring with confidence, 3 being patient, 4 acting according to the regulative principles such as Shravana, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padsevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Satyam, Atmanivedanam, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, and so on, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure complete success of the pure devotional service. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions first the mood in which we should execute this devotional service. That the mentality, the mood, because this mood will assure Krishna's reciprocation. If our mood in devotional service is not that of pure devotional service, then the effect of our devotional service will be less intense or less effective. So can someone read the first paragraph, which the translation, the verse of Rupa Goswami?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I will.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. On chapter 3, I've got it. Okay. Report. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. In substance, it is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rashamarta Sindhu, has
Rasamrita.
Samhita
Yeah, Rasamrita.
Rasamitra
Rita.
Rita.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Has defined devotional service as follows. Here we go. You want to read that part, sir?
I will do it.
Thank you.
Anya Vilasita Sunyam Jnanakarmat Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Silnam Bhaktir Uttama. This is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
All right.
So,
Uttama, you want me
yeah,
to continue?
not yet. That
Okay.
so this is the verse or the definition described by Srila Rupa Goswami of pure devotional service. Usually when we start performing devotional service, our mood is not that of devotional service. We have, because our minds are materially contaminated, we have material expectations. And Krishna explains that in Bhagavad Gita, in the 7th chapter, verse 16. It says, Chaturvida bhajante mam jnana sukritin arjunai. Achto jignasu achtarti jnana sa bharatarshaba. So Krishna says there are 4 kinds of pious men who approach me. But they approach me with material desires. They are the distressed, one who wants to become free from suffering. The desire of wealth, those who want wealth. The inquisitive, those who are curious and want to satisfy their curiosity. And those who are searching for knowledge of the absolute truth. And finally get liberation. But these are 4 material motives. In the beginning, usually we come to Krishna consciousness through these false motives, these material motives, that which are in the bodily concept of life. If we perform devotional service with these motives, our purification will be limited. Therefore, Rupa Goswami advises to perform devotional service in the right mood. And the right mood is to do everything for the pleasure of Krishna. Anu kal kolyena Krishnani. So one should perform unalloyed devotional service. That and that's explained here. Uttama bhakti, or unalloyed devotional service. So pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to Krishna. Favorable. So this is the primary characteristic of devotional service. You render devotional service favorably for Krishna. And this has 2 secondary characteristics. The devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma. impersonal jnana, and other selfish desires. What does it mean? No extraneous motive. If we perform devotional service, to be happy in this world, to get good karma, to get wealth, to get free from distress, peaceful, then that is material motive. That's not pure love. Pure love means satisfying the beloved, satisfying the beloved without any condition. That and that supreme love is explained by Lord Chaitanya in his Shikshastaka verses. The Shikshastaka verses means 8 instructions by Lord Chaitanya. These verses have been composed by Lord Chaitanya himself. That's the only verses which Lord Chaitanya himself composed. And they give very clear instructions. He says, at the last verse says, Aslisya va patam ratam pinastumam, adarshana marma tam karotu va. Yatata tata va vidatata lampato mat prananata stusa evanapara. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. That's the mood of Srimati Radharani. She says to Krishna, yeah, you may break my heart by not being present for me, before me, that you can handle me roughly. You do with me what you want, but you will always be the object of my love. You will be my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So that's a very high stage, and that's the pure mode of devotional service represented by Srimati Radharani. But because we are full of these material desires, it's difficult for us to perform this devotional service in a pure state of mind. This pure state of mind means a purified mind. And Lord Chaitanya explains this purified state of mind. Trinatapi sunichana tarora vaisaisnane amanana manadina kirtanya sadahari. One should chant this holy name in a humble state of mind. Humble state of mind means I'm the servant of Krishna. I don't want anything from Krishna. I just want to serve him as a servant. And for this, one must give up one's controlling tendencies. One should think himself lower than a straw in the street. When Srila Prabhupada, in the 70s, he went to give a lecture in the Uppsala University in Stockholm. And Prithu Prabhu was with him, one of the early German disciples. And Prabhupada explains to the students the qualities of a first class, second class, and third class man. And then after his presentation, one of the students challenged him. Oh, he said, I see you sit on a big seat and you receive all this honor from your disciples, that you surely think yourself that you are a first-class man. At that moment, Peter Prabhu looked at Prabhupada and there came tears from his eyes. And Prabhupada said, no, I'm a fifth-class man. That, of course, that position we should not imitate. That sometimes devotees would come to Prabhupada and say, I'm the most fallen. And Prabhupada would reply, you are not the most of anything, because it's just another feature of false ego, thinking I'm the greatest because I present myself as the lowest. No, that feeling should be sincere. Yes, and one should be more tolerant than a tree. That not be disturbed by this temporary happiness and distress in this world. Yet, if one is disturbed from that, then one wants freedom from distress. But a devotee knows is the reaction of my karma. As Krishna desires, also devotee says. If Krishna wants me to suffer, I will suffer. And it is the reaction of my karma. So he has no false prestige. And he doesn't ask honor for himself. So many people are after honor, but he gives honor to everyone else. Stay at the background. En Lord Chaitanya said, now Dhanam Nachano Nasundarim Kavta Vasari Sekami Mamacha Mamicha Mamishvai Bhavta Bhaktarahit Kitvai. In this verse he expressed also this mood of devotional service. That it says, Almighty Lord, I do not desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. That's another definition of devotional service, pure devotional service. He says, I want just to serve you, Krishna. Even birth after birth. So I don't ask for liberation from the cycle of birth and death. I don't want to love beautiful women or relations with the opposite sex. I don't want followers. All these things I don't want. I just want to serve you out of love. So that is the mood. So for this, we need to cultivate this pure devotional service. But it's a cultivation, a purification of the heart. And it doesn't happen overnight. But there are two aspects here, and that we have to consider in our devotional service. The heart may not be pure. We are not pure devotees. We are beginners. Okay. But at the other side, still you can perform pure devotional service by making that decision. No. What I will do for Krishna, I use all my body, mind, and senses in the service of Krishna. That And when you give everything you have to Krishna, that is considered pure devotional service. And that's mentioned in Nectar of Devotion by Rupa Goswami. Iyayasya aredasye karmana manasagiri Nikilesh apavastesu shiva mukta sauchate. If you act with your body, mind, senses, and all your convictions, you invest it in the service of Krishna, you perform pure devotional service, even if your mind is not pure. So that depends on us. And if you perform devotional service like that, you will become purified very soon. But your intention must be pure. The pure intention. If one performs that in that way, one is implicitly liberated, because that is acting as a spirit soul. Acting as a spirit soul means acting in relation to Krishna out of pure love without any material motivation. So that is important. If we don't understand the mood, then we will be hampered in our devotional service, our development of devotional service. This internal mood is the most important. It's devotional service. Service is the external side. The devotion is the internal. And that is internal mood to come to that level of devotional love. And so that is important to understand. But we can come to that level of pure devotional service if we understand the appropriate mood. And to understand our appropriate mood towards Krishna, we must be aware of our factual situation. We are a part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore a servant of Krishna. Because devotional service is performed in a different energy than the material service. Devotional service is performed in the internal service of Krishna, in the internal energy of Krishna. So Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita about his energies. That it says, Bhumi Rapon Alavayach Kam Mano Buddhavasha Ahankar Ityame Bina Prakati Ashtatam. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, intelligence, and false ego are together comprise separate material energies. So that's the material energy in which we all live in this world. But devotional service connects you with the spiritual energy. Apariyam mitastvam yam prakatim vidime param. Shiva Bhuta Mahabhu Charitam Dayate Jagat. Krishna speaking to Arjuna, and he says, besides this material energies, Krishna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So besides these material energies, in which the living entities in this world try to enjoy material nature, there is a superior energy. And this superior energy is the energy of the spirit soul. And because in our conditioned state, we have lost our touch with this energy. But this energy, we can come in touch by connecting with Krishna. Krishna is in this internal energy. Krishna says in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the fourth chapter, in the beginning, he speaks about his own nature. Krishna speaks about his own nature. Ayopisan avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropisam. That prakritim swamadistaya sambhavam atmamaya. He speaks as sambhavam, I appear atma maya. I appear in my atma maya, my eternal energy. So Krishna is transcendental and is always in his own energy, atma maya. And that's internal energy. And we are part and parcel of Krishna. As a spirit soul, we are this internal energy, but we are covered now by the external energy, this matter. But we can really free us from this covering by connecting with Krishna. And so devotional service connects us with this internal energy. And this internal, the essence of this internal energy is Ladini Sakti, devotional service to Krishna. And that is represented by Srimad Radharani. Therefore, Krishna says, we should become Mahatmas, great souls. Great souls know how to connect with this energy. And how do we connect with Satatam Kirtayantamam Yatanta Shantritavata? We connect with this internal energy by glorifying Krishna, by serving Krishna in devotional service in this mood. Anya Bilasta Sunyam Jnanakamatan Anukulena Krishna Nusilnam Bhakti Uttama. But to connect with this energy, that we must be aware of our position. Our position is not one of enjoyer. We must give that up. Because Krishna says that this the living entity tries to exploit this material nature, and that it tries to exploit, although they are part of the internal energy. Apayam itastvam praktim vidamebaram Shiva Bhutamabu Saitam Dayatejarat. So this Jiva Bhuta, that's us, that's the spirit soul in the material world. That Jaitam Dayatejarat, they try to exploit the material energy, and we must give that up. That we exploit this material energy to give pleasure to a body which we are not. But instead we should give pleasure to Krishna through devotional service in this internal energy. And then we will get the ecstasy of love, the enjoyment of the spirit soul. And that is the real enjoyment, because that never stops. It's eternal, that enjoyment. Enjoyments in this world are very short and illusory, because they are for the body, not for the soul. So that mood is so important. And I will give a seminar on that, just on that mood, when I'll be in Deland, because this mood is essential to increase the quality of our devotional service and our chanting. And I will give you a little preview. I will try to put it on the screen. I I wrote a prayer that, well, it's not really my prayer, but I included it in my manuscript that I'm writing. I'll try to find it here, just a moment. That it's prayer, I have it here. That a prayer that helps us to come in the right mood while performing devotional service. So I'm just reading this prayer. I'm the eternal servant of Krishna, but due to ignorance, I've gone astray and become lost in this world. Forgetting my eternal relationship with Krishna, I've identified myself with the body, thinking that my bodily relationship and work to maintain this body are most important. Like this, I've passed one lifetime after another in various pieces. Since time immemorial, I've been wandering in the cycle of repeated birth and death, suffering various miseries. Now, by the mercy of the devotees of Krishna, I've learned that I'm an eternal spiritual being and that I have nothing to do with this world. I'm completely different from my gross and subtle material body. I have an eternal life with Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, which is my real home. My eternal family and friends are waiting for me to come back so that once again we can blissfully serve Radha and Krishna together. I deeply long for this. I'm so fortunate that my path back to the spiritual world has become clear. The Lord has personally come in the form of His holy name to dispel my illusion, revive my eternal relationship with Him, and take me back home. I let go of this material world and everything in it. There is nothing for me to do here. I hold tight to the holy name so that nothing can get in between us, and I serve Him with all my heart by chanting with full attention and complete dependence. So, this is a prayer that may help us to come into this right mood, that we must be aware that if we try to get material things from Krishna, then we see Krishna as our order supplier. Krishna giving us, please give me this, give me that. People go to church or mosque praying for Krishna, praying to the Lord for material things. But it's childish that it's not a real thing. We should pray to become free from these material desires, that so that we can render pure devotional service. To become free from material desire is a process which is explained by Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And there he explains the process as a process of 9 stages from Shraddha to Prema. Rupa Goswami says, Ado Shata Tata Satu Sanghatya Bhajana Kriya Tato Narta Nivrittasya Tato Nishta Ruchis Tata Atasaktis Tato Bhavas Tata Premya Tunanshati Sadhakam Am Premna Pradurbhave Bhavet Kramaha. So he says in the beginning we must have faith. And then when one has faith, one becomes interested in the association of pure devotees. And then after that, one wants to receive initiation from a spiritual master and execute the regulative principles in his orders. Thus one is freed from all unwanted habits and becomes firmly fixed in devotional service. Therefore, one develops taste and attachment. So that is sadhana bhakti, the execution of devotional service according to the regulative principles. Healthy emotions intensify, and finally, there is an awakening of love of God. This is the gradual development of love of God for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness. So Rupa Goswami says it is a process, 9 stages, and it's a gradual development. In the beginning, we execute the orders of the spiritual master, and we don't have this pure internal mood that we don't know what love for God is. That so externally, in the beginning, we render service, but internally, we don't have a mood of surrender to Krishna, and a mood of doing it, of serving Krishna without asking something in return. We have expectations that we should not chant Hare Krishna to become happy in this world. This world is not a happy place. It's a place of suffering, and it will remain like that. But even when while we are in this place of suffering, if we serve Krishna and our consciousness is connected with Him, then we are not with our consciousness in the body and in this material world. And we will be happy. So that is the idea. We have to go to a higher level of consciousness of our original position. We have factually nothing to do with this world. We are imagining that. The mind, material mind, is suggesting that, in telling us this is so important. But factually not. Therefore, we should use everything in this world in the service of Krishna, and not with own material motives. If we are completely engaged in devotional service, Krishna will take care of our maintenance. That's no problem. Krishna maintains so many birds, elephants, and so on. And why should he not maintain his devotee? No, that is secondary. And that's surrender to Krishna, surrender to his service, and then Krishna takes care of it. It's like parents. If you have good parents, then the children don't have to worry. The parents will arrange everything for them. And Krishna will do the same. He will arrange everything that we need. So that's when I joined as a brahmachari in the temple, I had everything what I needed. No problem. There was no scarcity of anything. So that is this mood of pure devotional service. Devotional service has these two aspects. External devotional service by following the instructions of the spiritual master. And internally we must give all our love to Krishna, all our affection. So that internal aspect should always be there. If I forget this internal aspect, then it becomes not devotional. But still, if that internal aspect is not there or very little, and we perform devotional service on the order of the spiritual master, it will purify us. So in the impure states, our devotional service is not real, because the devotion is not yet there. It's like a mother, and she gives her daughter, young girl, 5-6 years, an imitation kitchen. And the little child is imitating the cooking of the mother. It's making plastic chapatis. It's imitating. It's not the real thing yet. But that imitating will help us to purify us. And that is the process of devotion service. It's a sort of cultivation. It doesn't happen overnight. So, at this point, are there any questions, please? That because this is a very important aspect. That,
Yes, Maharaj.
yes, Jagannath, my question.
Thank you. And that seminar sounds very interesting. When will that be?
Well, I think that I will be in Deland from the 6th till the 12th of January.
Okay.
And Purnachandra Prabhu is planning that seminar, so probably during the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes about this imitating, and I wonder. You just said it's good, and I guess it's good for us to remember. It's like that analogy of the child pretending to make food, because sometimes I think we have a tendency to think that our imitation is real, or I even remember hearing Ravindra Swarup Prabhu talk about certain problems in ISKCON. He thought that devotees, because they were young and didn't know any better, were imitating Srila Prabhupada without the qualification. So I'm just wondering if how do we keep from our imitation, going too far?
Yeah, because that imitation of a good thing will help us further. But of course, Srila Prabhupada was extraordinarily empowered. That he was sleeping only a few hours night, we cannot imitate that. That all these young men could not keep up with Srila Prabhupada. So we should not try to imitate an empowered Acharya, but we should try to follow his instructions and his example. The example we can follow. We are supposed to follow. So that is important, that the imitation should be restricted to following his instructions, not to follow his empowered situation. Yeah, we have seen also that there were in the history of ISKCON there were these zonal acharyas that there were 5-6 years in the movement. They were thinking them already, so it's pure devotion, pure devotees. But, one of Prabhupada's disciples, a very advanced devotee, said to me, I'm chanting 50 years and I'm not yet liberated. But Prabhupada was far beyond liberation. So they were 5-6 years in a movement and they were imitating Prabhupada, being the zonal acharya. And some of them started to receive honor on the level of Prabhupada, but it doesn't go. They all fell down. That Krishna does not tolerate that. So you can't, in 5-6 years, you can't have any substantial realization practically. That's out of the question. So there is a difference, but also if you speak about problems in ISKCON and Ravinder Swarup mentioning that, yeah, the problems in ISKCON come when we don't understand that principle that I explained today. That one should render devotional service without material motives. But some became very ambitious in our movement and want to make career. That putting themselves in front of things. And that doesn't work. That fires back. Therefore, this principle is very important. We are the consciousness, not his body. And we must act in pure consciousness to liberate us from this material entanglement. And here we learn what's pure consciousness. If our consciousness is not purely motivated, not pure, it's mixed with material desires, then also devotional service, or the service following the spiritual master, which is not so deep devotional, that it will also purify us, but it will go slow. If you can perform devotional service without asking something in return, just to please Krishna and the spiritual master, it will purify you very quickly. So that is the emphasis here. The motivation for the devotional service must be pure. Otherwise, it creates havoc on the path of devotional service. Your devotional service will go slower. Yes, will go slower. But the thing is, we cannot jump to that higher platform. That's not possible. You must purify yourself. And that is what happened in our movement, especially in the beginning, with this Sonal Acharyas and so many others who wanted to become the big man in ISKCON. The big controller. And we have seen in the beginning some acharyas, they start to create their own kingdoms within ISKCON. And they were the big guru, and everyone worshipped them. Of course, Krishna doesn't want that, and then in the 80s there was a big crisis in our movement. All the so-called pure devotee gurus, they fell down. So many problems. But I must say that the history of ISKCON, the last decades is going better because devotees become more advanced. But still, that danger is there. And still there are individuals who are acting in the wrong way, with the wrong motives, strong material motives. And when you act with material motives, then the body concept of life is there. The Indian devotees are better than the Western devotees. In India, that comes up sometimes. We want to have ISKCON India and cut off from the rest of the world. That is all material motives. That's the body concept of life. And that can destroy our movement. Our movement should be focused on this pure devotional service. Does that help, Jagannath Sharampal?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. Something else? That good. I think this is a very important point we discussed, and I would like to keep it with that point so that you can you can concentrate on that and keep that in your heart. Always think, why am I doing things for Krishna? Do I serve him out of love just because I want to please him? Or do I have my own selfish desires? So we need to be very conscious of that. Of course, even if we have selfish desires, we should still perform devotional service. But then your devotional service is not pure. It is performed in the modes of material nature. You are not really connected with the internal energy. But we do it on the instruction of the spiritual master. Still, Krishna agrees to purify us, even if we perform it in these modes. And that is also what's in the Bhagavatam. Akama sarvakama moksha kama udarati tivena bhaktiyoga chaita dayam chagat. That whether you have material desires or no material desires, or your desire of liberation, which are all material motives, you still should perform this devotional service with great enthusiasm and strength, because it will purify us. So thank you very much. I wish you a good night. I'm going to chant my japa in the morning here. And I'm looking forward to see you next week. I will be in Sofia in Bulgaria. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.